evening, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wiley Motorsports Entertainment. Earlier, we were playing with our buddy Carter, and the internet decided to kick out on account of these major storms that are going through, which I had here up on the screen, but apparently OBS has decided not to do that. So give me one hot second while I go ahead and attempt to correct that. There we go. Hit that. Yeah, now it decides to work. Hey! Alright, there we go. So, yeah, we had, it's a pretty wicked storms here. On my radar earlier, it showed up as purple and white, although now it's showing up as red, but we are here in Killeen, about an hour north of Austin, and it was interesting for a while. No hail this time, but you can see the satellite picture running through Texas right now. It's all kinds of fun. I can only imagine for those poor people trying to land at Dallas Fort Worth International. That must be all kinds of fun to try to land in that. I would imagine if I go and I check the misery map. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's about what I expected. So, it is just all kinds of hell in Dallas. So, there's delays in other places. I guess New York City's got some as well. But, yeah, it is just hell in Dallas. So, what's the other one? Houston's got some issues as well. But, yeah. So, if you're having to fly tonight, and you're wondering why it's all kinds of messed up, that would be why. Look at that traffic. Oi! Yeah, if you can see the airplanes there. But, yeah, that's got it. Well, it looks like the front passed over DFW, and now it is over Love Field in Dallas, where Southwest operates. And then eventually it should be passing on through. It's also about to hit Austin. It's at a weird angle. It's almost like literally mirroring the Hill Country line down here. Doesn't appear like it's going to impact San Antonio too much. But, yeah, Austin, I would imagine Austin's probably going to start climbing up the delayed. Let's see if I click on them. That's not going to tell me anything. Yeah, okay, wonderful. So that's headed right to Austin, so that should be fun. As you can see, there's no planes currently landing in Austin. They probably got out a few departures before they closed up shop for about 20-30 minutes while this thing passes through. As you can see, Dallas is looks like Dallas is back to somewhat normal operation, but yeah, that must have been all kinds of fun to deal with if you were landing this evening. At any rate, we're going to go ahead and play some Rocket League. And, yeah. I'm going to play a couple games of the Halloween mode that they have, even though it just sucks. So you can see what it is. But they really should have made that pumpkin spherical. That would have helped greatly. And made it squishier so that, you know, it doesn't bounce quite as hard. But it is what it is. While we're waiting.
Yeah, got a new show for y'all. Got a damn good
show. We got a damn good show for y'all. I love these two.
show. What we gonna do about these Hey, man, you gotta get to the point, man.
Catch up with that after the game. It'll be a little laggy for a hot minute. Get in there! Get in there! Yeah!
I'm gonna come.
what we like to see, baby. Even with that stupid ass ball. That was right place at the right time. Whoa. Fuck, what the? I don't know what I thought that was gonna work. The lag is still a concern. Good shot on his part. That works. Oh, damn! I missed the hell out of that. And I got blowed. That was not where I intended that to go. Oh, fuck! Lag! I ain't getting no free fucking shot off me. I don't think so. It might be. Nope. Oh, fuck. Oof. This mode is so fucking laggy. What the hell? No! Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Ah! Fuck! I missed! That'll work! That'll work! Alright, that's probably about enough of that mode as I can stand with that lag. Oh, crap. We have 1 gig internet, although I've never measured it at a gig. I think the fastest we ever got 600. And yeah, that's still laggy as hell. So that's about enough of that shit. Just double check everything on this car is set up the way it's supposed to be. Oh, in case you're wondering, that is named after my late adopted grandfather, who was Armenian. I call this design the Angelic Vartan. The angelic part, because that was my late adopted grandmother's name, Angel, and my late grandfather's name, Vartan. Obviously, I'm white as hell, so I'm not Armenian, sadly, but my adopted family is. That's a car I ain't let seen before. Yup. Yup. Okay, good. Good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a cactus on one of these because they used to live in Vegas too. Not to mention that I just happen to love cactuses. What's up, buggers? You wanna come say hi? Come say hi.
Hi.
Hi. What you doing? Hey, come here! I'm talking to you!
Nothing.
What?
Hi, I love
What is that all over your shirt? That is disgusting. Anyway, hey, what you doing?
Xbox.
Playing Xbox? What are you playing? Did it? Autism. Anywho. Alright, that should be good. I want to make sure the whole thing is correct. I forgot that. No, leave the lights on. I hate when you turn them all off. It drives me crazy. Please, leave them on. I don't really do the Halloween thing, so we'll go with that. Alright, like I said, that's about enough of Spooky Cube as I can freaking stand, so. We'll do a little bit of this, and then we'll go to Drop Shot, which is my favorite mode. I don't know why. Just is. None of my friends, who even the ones who play Rocket League, play that.
Keep it rolling.
Damn good show.
Hey, so it was this Hawassi. The name of this high school was Hawassi Dam High School. Hawassi Dam High School.
That sounds Indian.
Yeah.
So why these fools trying to make Atlanta Braves change that name, the Cleveland Indians change that name?
Well, Hawassi is like an Indian name.
Since they're on the subject, the only sport I've ever cared about growing up was baseball. And seeing as how they made the Indians change their name to the Guardians, I'm boycotting baseball. I'm also boycotting football. But that's not much of a stretch because I never really watched it.
I'm sure. It's the Indian name. Braves is the Indian name.
You right?
Oh, I misjudged the hell out of that. Fuck! Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. I hate this one. Ah! Uh-oh. That'll work!
You right?
That'll work, man! I hate that stupid effect. Hate that effect. Useless. What the? There you go, that'll help. Oh, hey!
You right?
I thought that was gonna be a bit high, but I was wrong. Shirt! Shirt! Nope. Kid. Ah, crap. Really? Really? That was a stolen shot. That was a stolen shot, but all right. Yeah!
I'm gonna come.
You the Van Halen. That actually was intentional. What's up, bookers? That was not what I intended to do. Fuck. That's not how I wanted that to go. Shit! What happened to your sleeve? Man, will you stop chewing your sleeves? You gotta stop doing that.
Became a king from a common man, and I turned my worst critics to my staunchest fans and worked at it until the world was believing. They gave them no choice but to see it. They said the grace always aim high. They still stay grounded at the same time, and so they see it.
You can call a high school an Indian name, but you can't call a professional sports team a Native American name?
Hypocrisy. Well, Hawassi Dam High School.
Don't say Wasi. That's disrespectful to Indians, you know?
Don't say that. Call it something else. What, the Washington High School or what?
What?
The Washington Redskins High School? I mean,
No, don't call it Native American, man.
hey man, shut up.
Looking out for Indians. I mean, Native Americans.
Hey, Kim, let's get serious on this.
So
Using the
heart
native
attack.
language, so.
All right, so this high school in North Carolina is called Hawassi Dam High School. They was playing volleyball against another high school, Highlands High School. Now, on Hawassi Dam High School,
Get back to that when the game's done. Ah, if I'd have hit that the right way. Damn. Oh, what the? Let's go in! What the fuck? What the fuck? You asshole! Oh, now I'm mad. Shit. I missed. That'll work. Had to keep the guy off your back. Somebody stop it! Bitch. Hoisted by my own petard. Look at that.
They say the grace always ain't high. It's still safe grounded at the same time. And so they see a sky native with the hang time. That's why ain't no one can see us when it's game time. They say the grace always ain't high.
Damn. That's it! Ha-ha!
I'm gonna come.
Yeah! Tie game, bitches! Uh-oh, that's coming this way. Oh, yeah. Fuck.
I'm gonna come.
Yeah, baby! You stupid ass. Woo-wee! Oh. There you go. Get the R. Kelly treatment going on over there.
I'm gonna come.
It's over.
They got a transgender now.
On the other high school team, they got a bunch of little white girls.
Well, they got
Biological girls.
yeah, just girls.
Got little girls over there.
They're not all white.
They ain't all white?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
And
It's North
on the
Carolina.
Hawassi Dam High School.
Hawassi Dam.
Yeah, Hawassi Dam. That's the name of the school.
Named
They
after
got
a dam, huh?
They got that one transgender on there, and this is what happened.
Being
in the
that
game.
biological boy.
Hold on. Ooh, this is a new map. I'm not familiar with this one. Holy fucking lag. Woo!
You right?
That'll work. Nice. Fucking nice. Setting them up and knocking them down. That's coming this way. Nope. That's good. That's it. Yeah!
I'm gonna come.
You the Van Halen. I'm talking about. Yeah! Ah, missed it. Ah, I fucked that one up. Fuck, I fucked it up! Hold on. That was my call to make sure my put it in my car. With that rainstorm earlier. You ass! Fucking dicks. Woo! Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't think so, bitch. Shut up, dogs! That's in! That's in, my friend!
You right?
Nice! I like how the other guy had the backup spikes just in case the first one got knocked. No! Damn! Fuck. I tried to stop him. Couldn't quite do it. Did a little dance though. Fuck. Fuck! Yeah, he had that punching bag ready to go. What the? God damn it. Nope! Denied, bitch! Fuck! Fuck! Ay, un puerco sucio. Damn. That was a hard-fought game.
Boy. Yeah, biological. Damn half-grown man over there. There's a damn volleyball player on Hallows damn high school got actually dick and balls hanging in his shorts, while everybody else on the court has just got a gash.
Keep in mind, a lot of transgenders who see themselves as the opposite sex, they're still sexually attracted to the opposite sex.
Yeah.
So this transgender, he might be a lesbian. You never know.
Check out this footage. Transgender gonna spike the ball in the girl's face. Here it come.
God! Did you see her head go back?
Yeah, I mean the footage is blurry.
Yeah, show it again.
Man, they gotta see it again.
No, show it one more time. Did you see the force where that ball hit in the face?
Yeah.
Look. Did you see that?
That's all. Look how the transgender standing by herself. All the other teammates ain't even standing with her. don't know who recorded that video. You need some damn camera classes. What was that, an iPhone 1?
You right? right? You right?
I'm gonna come.
You right? You right?
Shit.
I think it was actually off of TV.
I mean, the
It's
video
like-
of Bigfoot is better than this.
This damn Bigfoot footage in the year 2022. They has, what the hell?
What the hell was you filming that with?
Bigfoot footage at the damn volleyball game. But the girl, she suffered head neck injuries. They say she having concussion.
Blurred vision. She's got a concussion
type symptoms.
Yeah, she got a concussion. That's why she's having concussion symptoms.
And she's having trouble with her vision.
Yeah.
Because a boy who's living his life as a girl, and
Who's pretending to be a girl.
Yeah, and we supposed to be nice about it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's be inclusive. He's a girl. Then he gets on the volleyball court and spikes a damn ball straight in the damn girl's face, injures her. And you see the transgender get sitting there like, what just happened? What's going on?
You just smashed that white girl's face.
I don't know if it was white girl.
Look like a white girl. Well, you can't tell from this Bigfoot footage. You could be a damn flying saucer in there. You never saw it.
Yeah, and
Hey, and you know who's responsible for this? Democrats. Democrat policies allowed this girl to get a
Democrat
concussion.
policy.
Yeah, policies. Democrat policies allowed this to happen to this poor girl's face. She has a concussion because of Democrat. Well, I wouldn't even call it, Democrat policies, but they're no longer liberal or anything. Like, these people are just batshit
Yeah, well, the
crazy.
school allowed it.
Yeah, the school, liberals. Ain't nobody conservative pushing this. Ain't no Republican pushing this.
Yeah.
It's all Democrats,
But
liberals.
the school board is called the Cherokee School Board. Another Indian name, huh? Jeez.
I never.
I done had it muted this whole damn time. Motherfucker. Professional broadcast for you, folks. Professional broadcast. Nice. Enough of that shit. Thank you very much.
I never understand why professional sports teams have to change their name, but you can name a high school, a street. What's the difference?
I guess when you like, it's more like out of respect. I guess that's what the batshit crazy leftists say. Anyway, it's more respectful. Can't go to a game and Nana Brazen out there doing chopping and shit.
Yes,
That's disrespectful.
Oh, keep it going.
I'm still waiting for somebody to explain to me the logic of the Braves being allowed to keep their name, but Cleveland not being allowed to keep their name because, you know, we care about Native Americans and Indians is offensive as some shit. What the fuck? Drop out of the... Damn. There we go. Alright. I don't have to put up with that bullshit. Nope. Fuck! Missed it. Missed it. Ah, no! And every time two people vote to forfeit, they're like, nah, fuck you. damn it. Ah! Did not want to hit it that way. Thank you. Wow. The amount of missed hits. God damn it all. Fuck! Get out of here. Get out of here. Good, good, good. Get shit out of here. Nope. We are so fucked.
Keep it going. You got to do it like 3 intervals, man. That's the level when the brace is down and going into the bottom of the night. They're like, no.
We need some runs.
We need some runs. White people like, we need some runs. Anyway, I hope that girl gets a lot of money. I hope the parents sue that school district. Hey, but the school board, the Cherokee, that's the name of school board, Cherokee School Board.
Cherokee School Board.
The Cherokee School Board, they voted against playing that damn transgender team anymore.
Well, they canceled all the games,
They
huh?
canceled the damn games. You got a transgender? You're canceled.
Yeah, they can't. All the other.
Well, they didn't cancel the games of the school with the transgender person. What they did is they basically canceled, like, for all the other schools in the district, the 1 game or 2 games or however many games they had with that one particular Hiwassee Dam school, they canceled their games with that school. All the other schools in the district still get to play each other, and just like normal, but none of them are going to play that one school. So basically now, that school can't play any other games against anyone in the district, which means they can't qualify for playoffs or anything else, or state or anything else. They now have no more games for the rest of the season, because the school board, being fearful of being sued, cannot tell the transgender player, hey, no, we're not doing this. You out of your damn mind, we're not doing this. Okay? They can't do that and they can't say that because they'll get sued out of existence by the fucking ACLU. Backed up with money from the Democrat Party. So instead of doing that, now they're just going to cancel all of their games with that one school, citing safety, without actually saying what it is, because otherwise they'll get sued. They won't say what it is, wisely. This is how the game has to be played now. And if someone really presses them on something, maybe they'll say, something like lighting or the floor or whatever. They'll make up some excuse because... Or they just say safety concerns and just leave it at that, which is what they've done so far. So you can't have males compete against females in sports. You can't do it. I would have thought the Leah Thomas situation would have proved that pretty well. If you need more evidence, you can't do it.
The team's canceled? Yeah, I guess, yeah. That's good. Hey, whoa, come on. Time to celebrate. Whoa. Now you keep stopping. You got to do it 3 times.
Man, I don't even know how. It's like, it should be common sense.
Used to
Let me
be.
put it to you like this. How many women compete in the NBA?
What?
How many women compete in the NBA?
You got your own league, man.
Hey, Kim, let's know what the fuck I just asked.
I'm just being sarcastic. You can't take a joke anymore? Well, you need a tampon? The time
How many?
It's the dead time of the month for you.
How many women compete in the NBA? None. How many women compete in the NFL? None. How many women compete in Major League Baseball? None. How many women compete in hockey, NHL? None. How many women are prostitutes?
We get
It's a
your
lot
point.
of them.
What?
You asked our coach. I said, how many women are prostitutes? I said, a lot of them.
That's disgraceful.
All I'm saying is, know your place.
What?
That was a damn good show. For more damn good show, click one of these 2 videos right here.
Don't forget the red pill, the liberals, the Democrats in the comments section below, and let's pray for this girl's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible. They ain't even got to go back to playing.
Everybody tell that transgender in the comments how you feel about him.
No, don't say that, because they're going to get this damn video banned.
Oh, it's freedom of speech.
Hey, let me see that video. That shit might have been too crazy.
Yeah.
That was hard. Damn. Just cleared it. Fuck! That was hard. Get your ass out of there. You ain't tipping shit in. Would have had that cleared. What is this? All the good people are playing tonight? I'm having fucking terrible luck. Get the fuck out of here! God! Alright, enough of this shit. I ain't had it. And let me guess, player number 3 is gonna puss out and keep us in this game, even though we gonna get ass. What a shock. Hold on, let me put on my surprise face. Man, just dropping my ranking through the fucking floor, man. Jesus Christ.
Now this man, excuse me, she's got a little diary going on TikTok.
Documenting how long he's been living his life as a woman.
He's got 8 million followers. He is a legendary Dylan Mulvaney trans activist.
8:47 of being a girl, and I'm hiking in a pleather skirt.
Oh, that girl fine, boy.
I'm scared of getting Lyme disease.
In case you ever wanted to notice, and this is a person who has ADHD with a son who has autism, if you ever wanted to know what the true face of mental illness looks like.
Better be scared of getting monkeypox. Hey, but he's getting a lot of criticism from conservatives. He went to talk at a woman's meeting about something.
I think that's a total slap in the face.
The women, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he could live his life as a woman, but being a woman is more than just a costume.
Well, this is freedom, man. This is in the Constitution. The pursuit of happiness. Live your life. You can't knock freedom. You're either with the Constitution or you're not.
He has every right to do that, and we also have a right to have our opinions of him doing that. That's how that works. It's a two-way street.
Trump, but I'm not against him.
Where's the, Where's the videos? There we go. Hopefully that will get me out of several bad games of very talented people playing drop shot for some reason tonight. I don't even want to that shit.
It's called the butt baby. Look, a prosthetic baby that can be inserted deep into the loving embrace of the rectum, where a trans woman can experience and celebrate the miracle of childbirth. You experiencing the experience of
a bowel movement. I thought this was fake at first, but it's actually a website selling this.
Look at this, the butt baby. You can get it in 13 inches.
That's huge.
For $300 to shove that up your ass?
Look how big that is. How are you going to shove that up your butt, man? You're paying $300 to get a severe case of hemorrhoids. I just wanted to show you this video because this is the end of times. Make sure you pray because Jesus is coming. I mean, he's got to be coming, right?
It's called the butt baby.
That rolled across the floor and hit nothing. I know where this is going. Look at it, it rolled across the floor and it hit shit. What the fuck? Bitch! Motherfucker! Right to him! This is gonna be the 5th or 6th game this tonight where 2 people vote to forfeit and the 3rd person goes Q and keeps us trapped in this fucking game. Don't you love that? Asshole. getting real sick of people forcing me to stay in games. And you know damn well it was the person who was AFK. Getting sick of that shit. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just go back to playing fucking Rumble. I've had enough of that shit with people. We'll try this for a hot minute.
Yeah. Got a new show for y'all.
Damn. Good show.
It's gonna be sad as shit, really. I ain't gonna even lie to you. This is man.
It's sad, ain't it?
It's sad, man. If you want to click off the video, go right ahead. I ain't gonna.
The fuck you saying that for?
I ain't gonna force them to stay. This shit's messed up. I ain't gonna lie to my fans.
Check it out.
Well, this is not a video I want to make, and it's kind of hard to make because as I'm watching myself, I see
Let it out.
what I'm going to say, which is I have been diagnosed with Bell's palsy, which is paralysis on one side of the face. For me, it's this side here, the left, obviously. So I got it about 2 weeks after getting my vaccine. And I had a rough go with the vaccine, and I guess still am. But I have to say that I would do it again because it's what we have to do to see people. So, I don't know why I'm making this video, but here's my word smile.
The fuck is wrong with you? Hope we have to do this to save people. You ain't saving shit! One of these days, in like 2 or 5 or 10 years, this woman gonna look at this video saying that stupid ass shit after all of the stuff from all of the manufacturers comes out, looking at this stupid ass shit and realizing she was fooled like everybody else except me and the wife and the kid and a whole bunch of other people we know who happen to be in positions where either they could not be fired from their employer or they could get a religious exemption. Or, yeah. Because I will tell you I don't work for nobody. I work for myself. I fix cars. I do this. I don't really expect to make any money out of this. It'd be nice if I did. At least not maybe for a few years, but I'm a mechanic by trade. I'm the kind of the stay-at-home parent in our house. The wife is a nurse at a hospital full-time, and that more than pays for our bills. So, yeah. I'm not in a position where I had to get the jab. The wife got a religious exemption at her former employer in Wisconsin and also at her current employer in Texas. Because the reality of that situation was, and most people aren't aware of this, there were so many nurses threatening to quit nationwide over this because they understand medicine and they know that none of this shit that these companies were claiming was on the money. So they all basically told their employers at various parts of the country, we're not doing this. Not happening. Either you give us a religious exemption or we're out. There was even, in Wisconsin, a group of nurses who wanted to start a class action suit against a couple of employers over it. And... hell? Anyway, there were a couple of nurses in Wisconsin who wanted to start a class action lawsuit over it. And given the current climate, unfortunately, they probably wouldn't have won. Not because their argument doesn't have merit, because it does, but because the federal government has been so corrupted at every single level that there's no chance. But basically, so many nurses and doctors, but I know specifically about nurses, were going to quit that the healthcare providers of America had no choice but to offer en masse religious exemptions to most nurses. And my wife was one of those that got one at her old employer in Wisconsin and also here. Nice.
Steve, you right?
So, this woman on this thing here saying, you know, she would do it all over again is the biggest, most ignorant, stupidest virtue signal I think I have ever seen. And that's saying a lot considering the events of the past couple of years. Yeah, you ain't saving the lives of anybody. It's no different than people driving a Prius or an EV thinking that they're somehow saving a planet. You know, you're actually causing more damage by doing that because some of us understand how basic physics work. Well, maybe not in-game physics, but other physics. What the dick? Ah, you bitches! I had that lined up perfectly! Come on, get it in there! Oh my god, you guys fucked that all up! Good thing I'm not in a voice channel, I'd be yelling at these idiots. And he just mad that he gonna blow me up. Fuck you. Get it in! Get it the fuck in! Oh, come on! I fucked that up. That was my bad. That was bad defense. Bad defense. I thought I had that cleared. Fuck. Man, shut your ass up. Oh, damn it. Get it in! Thank you! Woo!
I'm gonna
I
come.
should have gotten the points for that, but alright. I need a boost. have got credit for a fucking save there. Still not down. Brown. There you go. As I was saying, you one of these people who believed in that jab blindly because you stupid. It would be mean to say you deserve what side effects you might get from it, but I will only say that karma is a bitch. So.
At least you still got a sense of
Hey,
humor.
I'm gonna tell you why you did this video.
I'm gonna play that again.
Because it's what we have to do. I have to say vaccine, and I guess still am, but I have to say that I would do it again because it's what we have to do.
No!
To see people. So, I don't know why I'm making this video, but here's my word smile.
Normally, I wouldn't laugh at people like that
At
either.
least you still got a sense of humor.
Hey,
But
I'm
you
gonna
brought it
tell
on
you
yourself.
Why you did this video?
Or better
You
yet,
said
people who don't give a
very
fuck
telling
about you
things in
brought it
this
on
video.
you, and
You
you
said
almost certainly,
what
since
we
you
have
said
to
that,
do
you support those people,
Get to see people.
and you vote for those
You was
people.
coerced to take this vaccine. You
Yeah.
was forced to take this vaccine.
Yeah, she actually admitted that, huh?
You had actually admitted
No, she
that on
chose.
camera.
That one
yeah, you had a
chose
rough go
to
with the
take it.
vaccine, and you said, "I still am."
But they'll tell you it's safe and effective. But they only mean, when they mean safe and effective, statistically it's safe and effective.
Yeah,
They ain't telling what's really happening to some of the people.
yeah.
Because nothing's perfect. Every medication, every prescription you get, everything has side effects. Hell, vitamins can have side effects.
Yeah,
Over-the-counter medication can have side effects. Nothing's perfectly safe.
Yeah, I mean, I seen people that got the vaccine. We did a video on it, and the guy's walking, and he's just in his legs and his arms is just doing this while he's walking.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Remember that?
Yeah, his feet turned into sweet potatoes.
Yeah, man, dude was walking, his arms was doing this, his legs was doing that, and he was just, and his head was like that, and I was like,
Well, I told you, I warned you before I showed you the video. I said this shit's messed up. So don't tell me, don't get mad at me because I didn't warn you.
you know what? And I bet you this lady is one of those people.
Yeah.
Who said, what, the nurses don't want to get the vaccine? Fire the ass.
Oh, the cops don't want to get it? Fire that.
Fire the cops. The
Firemen,
people-
people
much you
coming?
wanna bet?
No, man. Kick them out.
Yeah, because they're not doing their part. Is this what you call doing your part, huh?
Yeah. For us to go back to normal, man, all we had to do is get, what they call it, herd immunity. Everybody has to get it.
Yeah.
That's how you get back to normal when a pandemic occurs. It's not because if you take that vaccine, it's like
Okay.
they made that shit in, how fast did they make that vaccine? 10 months? A year?
Well, it was Trump's idea, I think.
No.
Yeah, thanks, Trump.
No.
I think it was his idea. Trump came out
He
with
said, we're going to make the vaccine quicker than ever. I said, I like you, Trump. I'm going to vote.
Yeah, I got a comment on that. Trump, just being honest, did not care about Kung Flu. It wasn't one of his primary concerns. We have had pandemics since the dawn of time. To be perfectly honest, his opinion was correct. Because we had the swine flu and nobody gave a shit. We had the Asian flu and nobody gave a shit. And those all killed more people or as many people as this did. It's just that this one was hyped by the media. That was the difference. And it was hyped by the media for a point, for a purpose. And I would be happy to say what that purpose is, but I don't want to get banned from YouTube. But I lived in Milwaukee, or around Milwaukee, for 17 years. I know the shenanigans and the bullshit that go on. They always come from Chicago. And they always come up to Wisconsin. Used to be every presidential election, and then it started to be every 2 years. They always come up to Wisconsin. They would always steal elections. Every time. And then when voter ID was passed, and they had a problem doing that, they switched to absentee balloting for the 2016 election. What happened there was basically because the polls were wrong. They gravely miscalculated the number of absentee ballots that they were going to need. Fucking shit. And at about 4 or 5 in the morning after Election Day in 16, they ran out. That's what happened in 16. They made sure in 18, during the governor's race in Wisconsin, that they were not going to repeat that mistake. And they made sure that they fixed their polling errors. They made sure that they got people who would answer them distinctly. And they also made sure that they were going to have more than enough fraudulent absentee ballots on hand in the 18 election. And of course, at about 5 in the morning after the election day in 18, where Governor Scott Walker was winning the election at, midnight the night before. I fucked up. Midnight the night before. All of a sudden, by 3:30 in the morning, Governor Evers, Democrat, now governor, was dead even. And by 5 in the morning, he had a 10,000 vote lead. 10,000, 12,000, whatever the final ended up being. That's what happened in 18. They just repeated the exact same process when it came to the 2020 election, except that in 18, nobody was paying attention. I was. Very few people were. Most people are not aware that the number of absentee ballots spiked in 16, 18, and 20, not just 20. Oh, fuck. This is my problem with ADHD. I can't talk and think at the same time. But that's what happened. The Republican narrative of this is wrong. The Democrat narrative of this is complete horseshit. What actually happened is, when voter ID was passed in 11, took 5 years to get through the state Supreme Court appeals process because the Democrats panicked because they had yet to come up with a strategy. They kept claiming voter ID was racist, which it wasn't. Kept claiming all kinds of other bullshit. And it took them about 5 years to come up with a replacement strategy for how they were going to steal elections in Wisconsin, with that operation being based out of Chicago. Like it always has been. I have a pretty good hunch that it also steals Minneapolis elections too, but I don't live in Minneapolis, so I'm not going to venture an opinion on that. But the rest of Minnesota is staunchly red. And even with all of the... Hey, shut your ass up. Even with all of the Democrats that live in and around Minneapolis, I have my suspicions that that voter total has never been correct either. Really? Dick. Like I said, I have my suspicions about Minneapolis. I've got people that live in Minnesota, and yeah. But as far as Wisconsin is concerned, I can tell you point blank, I know from witnessing it with my own fucking eyeballs, that state has had its election stolen at a minimum since I lived there when I moved there in November of 2004. The last time, before Trump, the last time that state voted for a Republican was Reagan's second term. And ever since then, it was just constant. Always, like, frequently Republican governors and nearly always Republican legislature. I think they had a Democrat legislature through some portion of the 90s because the unionization movement, or the union movement, was still very big there. But so long as I had been there, I think it was only the first 04 to maybe 2010, first 6 years, where they had a Democrat legislature and a Democrat governor. And after that was the revolution of Scott Walker. And then the Republicans have owned the legislature for 12 years now. And they're not even close to being threatened. Because the union movement in Wisconsin has died. Because unions are fucking stupid. And they kill jobs. So, when the plant closes down, any and all union support, which always goes to Democrats, tends to go right out the fucking window when your job goes downriver. So, Wisconsin is outside of Madison and Milwaukee, is a very red state. Madison is liberal as fuck. It likes to rival itself with Berkeley for being the most liberal place in America because they're fucking idiots. And that's mostly because of the university teachers at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. With Milwaukee, it is mostly the north side of Milwaukee, which is of a certain particular skin pigmentation, mostly, with some white people. And it is very low income. So when you combine those two things, they have to, in every election, they have to have enough votes in Madison and Milwaukee to overturn the entire rest of the state, which they used to, in order to help that process, they used to bus up people from Chicago and from Illinois, which is staunchly blue. Well, that's not even accurate. Illinois is a very red state outside of Chicago and Chicagoland, and outside of the state capital of Springfield. You take Springfield and Chicago out of it, the entire rest of that state is red as fuck. As is the same with most other states in the country. All of the rural areas are always deeply Republican. The suburban areas tend to fluctuate, and the downtown areas are always extremely liberal. The thing of it is the left has to have enough people in a small area in the cities to outweigh or outnumber the relatively small number of people per mile out in the farmlands, but the farmlands are so damn large that when you add all those people up, normally they would outnumber the people in the cities, unless you have mega cities like New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, things of that nature, where, in Wisconsin, Milwaukee is actually not that large. It is, million people out of a state of about 5 to 6 million people. So that plus Madison, it always tends to, there's never quite enough. So they always had to bring in people, and I've seen this. When I moved to Wisconsin in 04, I started noticing it the first time in my life. I never noticed it in California. Deeply blue state. Never really noticed an influx of out-of-state plates around election time. Wisconsin? Oh, you bet your ass. I'd be driving to work 45 miles, and all of a sudden about 6 weeks, not 8 weeks, about 4 to 6 weeks before any election, all of a sudden you would start seeing these out-of-state plates. And it's normal in Wisconsin to have a certain amount of Illinois plates because people who own cabins up north, especially on Friday nights, where you have, the Highway 41 and 43 clogged with Illinois fuckers who just going up to their stand-up. That's normal. And Sunday evenings, afternoons, evenings. What was not normal is all of a sudden you would start to see about 5 to 10 times the normal amount of Illinois plates during the week, where you would not normally see that many. I would be seeing tons of them on the way to and from work. And I worked on the south side of Milwaukee at a place called Breaker Ford at the time. And you would start seeing tons of these. Even when I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond over in Mequon on the north side of Milwaukee, same thing. You would just, in every presidential election, you would start seeing tons of out-of-state plates. And not just Illinois. You would see New York, California, which was really weird in Wisconsin to see California plates. It happens, but it's very rare. I mean, once or twice a year, maybe. Maybe. There's not a lot of Californians driving to Wisconsin unless they got extended family from there. So you would start seeing California plates about 4 to 6 weeks before an election. You would start seeing New York plates, Maryland plates, Massachusetts, Connecticut. I never really saw any Rhode Island. I don't know why. But New York plates, shitloads of New York plates. And again, Maryland, for some very strange reason. You would also see Oregon plates, not as many as California, but Oregon plates and a few plates from Washington State. Again, in Wisconsin. like 2,000 miles away. All around the time before an election. And then the massive influx of Illinois plates. So I noticed that in 04. I noticed that in 08. In 10, Governor Walker got elected. Passed voter ID to stop that shit. They held it up in court for 5 years. It finally passed the Supreme Court in the spring of 16. Went into effect for the spring election of 16. Primaries and whatever else was on the ballot. And into... hold on, dogs. And into being activated for the fall election of 16. And in those 5 years that the Democrats dragged that through the state court system before it finally... And they knew that was conservatives, at least when I left, run the state Supreme Court. They knew that it was not going to, that their attempt to stop voter ID was not going to fly. It wasn't going to fly with the public because no one's against voter ID. It's not actually racist or anything else. It's just voter ID. But also, they had to come up with a backup plan, and their backup plan was to spike the number of absentee ballots because technically in Wisconsin, you only need a photo ID the first time you ask for an absentee ballot. And every succeeding time after that, you never have to ask for a photo ID. Also, they're supposed to be purging. This is the thing I'm watching for since we used to live there as of the last election. And I just checked today. We're both still registered in Wisconsin. They're supposed to purge the lists every year under state law of people who have moved out of state. And the Democrats sued multiple times to get that to every 2 years. And now I think they're trying to push it even further than that. Because what they need is they need all of these people who have moved out of state, all the people who have died, everything else. They need their names to still be valid on the rolls so that they can get absentee ballots for those people, so that they can then have them sent to the nonprofit organizations that they use for distribution of this whole system, and then from the nonprofits to ballot boxes. And I just saw today on my Facebook feed from all over the country, people taking videos of people stuffing the ballot boxes, the absentee ballot boxes. So if you think that's not a real thing that's happening, oh, it is. And it's not even that bad during the off years. The presidential election is the one they really care about because that one has control over the judges that get appointed at the federal level in different parts of the country, the appeals level justices, I should say, and the Supreme Court justices. That's the one they really care about because the Supreme Court in this country is the only thing that cannot be overruled. The president can change, the Congress can change, the laws can be rescinded, but the only one that cannot be overruled, according to the Constitution, is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is everything to the Democrats, which is why our side finally figured out that without getting control of that court at any cost. And that's the thing is the left doesn't understand is the right was not on board with Trump in 15 or 16 until he released the list of Supreme Court justices he would nominate, and he stayed faithful to that list. That's what got him the support from the right wing. So, I'll get back to that subject in a minute. Let me let my dogs out. I'm going. You let him out then. You're up. You should not be in that. Let him out. I love you. I don't care. Damn dogs out. I'm gonna put a lock on that door. Stay there. You're gonna have to let it in. Okay? Put a lock on that door. Oh. Boy. Alrighty. Anywho, as I was saying before, yeah. So this whole thing with with the voter fraud thing, it's and now we live in Texas, and I hope that it's not an issue here in Texas, but here in Texas, they do something called central count, just the same as they do in every other major city in the country. And I will tell you right now, that's how the Democrats cheat. And the minute that the Republicans finally figure that out is the minute that a good portion of this stops. Because in order for you to cheat in an election, you need to know how many ballots you need to overturn the actual legitimate number of ballots that are not in your favor. And for that effort, you need to know what those totals are. And those totals usually come in to about 10 to mid, or finished being brought in from everywhere else in the rural areas of the state by 10 to 12 p.m. You then have the rest, if you are central count in Austin, Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Detroit, LA, New York, you then, if the vote totals are not in your favor, you then have the entire rest of the night to keep counting ballots in order to overturn, even by whatever margin you want, the actual number. The fact that central count exists is the reason why voter fraud exists. You get rid of central count, you help get rid of voter fraud. Because while there will always be some level of voter fraud, if the Democrats don't know how many ballots they need to overturn the will of the rest of the people, then they're at a severe tactical disadvantage. So the way to deny them that information is to insist that everyone have their ballots in by a certain time on election night. And anything that is not counted by that time is not valid. Done. That plus voter ID should put a stop to a lot of this shit. It ain't gonna, and I'm, as a person who was born and raised in LA, I can tell you that outside of all of the major metro areas, nearly every state in this country, even the blue states, are actually pretty red. So I don't know that it'll make California a lot, doing what I just specified would make California a lot closer. But in order for this to work, it needs to be a federal law. And good luck getting the Republicans to do that. But I don't even think that's on their radar because the Republicans are generally just nutless. And I don't know if some of them, and I have my doubts, are in on some of the corruption of the left. I'm not sure. But if you want to stop this shit and make elections honest again, you have to get rid of central count. There is no other way. You have to take away the Democrats' ability to know how many legitimate ballots there are, and then allow them time, several hours time, however, whatever, to try to keep processing ballots, to shove them in, to try to overturn that. You have to get rid of central count. It won't stop them from shoving bunches of ballot boxes in with fraudulent votes. It won't stop that. But at least this kind of thing that happens, especially in states that are battleground states like Wisconsin, where the state is a certain way, and then by 5 in the morning, all of a sudden there's this massive, or not massive, all of a sudden there's this slight victory by one party the following morning. That shit only happens on the Democrat side. That shit's got to stop. So I don't know how long it's going to take for, Republicans finally realized that Democrats were sneaking people in from blue states and they passed photo ID. I don't know why it hasn't occurred to them that they need to also get rid of central count. Because that's the Democrats' number one weapon to overturn legitimate votes. You need to deny them the time that they need. You need to make them as blind to the actual vote totals as the Republicans are. That's the way you make it fair. Whereas, by midnight on election day, if your votes are not in, they don't count. Done. I'd prefer 10 p.m., but central count, everywhere else in all of these states, you have your individual precinct count your own ballots. Central count in major cities takes all of the ballots from all of the precincts, takes them to one specific facility to en masse count them all. And because it is all done in one facility, it gives them the excuse that they need until 4 or 5, whatever, the following morning after election day to count all the ballots. Well, if you were counting them at each individual precinct, like everyone else in the rural suburbs has to, and in the rural areas has to do, then you would have your stuff done just like they have their stuff done. Because everyone doesn't go to one building to vote. Everyone goes to your local precinct to vote. All votes should be counted at your local precinct, and in all the rural areas and most of the suburban areas, they are. It's only in the major cities that this kind of fuckery is allowed, and this shit needs to stop. And I have a feeling that the Democrats are very desperate to try to take Texas. Because if they can get they're not going to get Florida, and they're probably not going to get Texas. But if they can get either one of those two, they have a permanent majority in this country, and they have one-party rule. So they have been trying for years to get people in here and get people into certain positions of government saying just the right things, and then Republicans appoint them, and they don't actually pay attention to their background, and they don't pay attention to the micro actions of their job. They just assume they're good people, and then all of a sudden these people start incrementing in small increments, doing these little tiny things over a long period of time, which eventually lead to them having the ability to do central count and to put people in certain positions where certain things are not investigated, certain things are not looked at. It's all organized crime. Legal and illegal organized crime. That's how this shit works. Again, I lived for 17 years in a state that repeatedly had its election stolen by people from fucking Illinois, New York, California, for reasons I'm never understood. Oregon, Washington, Massachusetts, Maryland, Connecticut. Again, never saw Rhode Island plates. Never saw Vermont plates. And New York. These people come into these states supposedly to help count the ballots. No. I went to the recount in 2020 in Milwaukee with my own eyes. Hold on, since I'm on the subject. See? Told you. Went to the recount with my own eyes. There we go. I've seen shit that make most people mad. I've seen votes that were missing witness signatures, specifically one particular case, during that particular recount, where 73 absentee ballot envelopes, the absentee ballots themselves were gone, long gone, because once they get taken out of the envelope, they're untraceable. They're gone. They don't have any name attached to them anymore. Once they're out of the envelope and pass through the machine, that's it. That vote's done. It's counted. There's no uncounting that vote. So really what was being argued was the envelopes that they are required to keep that came in, and said they found 73 of these absentee envelopes, all of which were from employees at Milwaukee City Hall, all of whom were Democrats. These 73 ballots, again, the ballots were gone, these 73 ballot envelopes. If they had even removed 73 from Biden's tally, it wouldn't have changed the election. But these 73 ballot envelopes were signed by Milwaukee City Hall employees, signed. No, sorry, not signed. They were signed by the employees, and they had the address of the employees as Milwaukee City Hall. In the witness signature and witness address line, both of which were blank, there was no witness address, and there was no witness signature. And under Wisconsin state law, those are required by law to be mailed back to the person for correction, then sent back to the precinct to be counted. These were not. These were automatically popped out of the envelope, processed through the machine, and the envelope's kept, and that was just the first batch of the first morning of the recount. Because again, once the ballot is out of the envelope, that's it. All bets are off. It's done. The vote's already in the system. So you can't say for certainty, even if you disqualify the ballot envelope, you cannot disqualify the ballot itself because that ballot's long gone, and no one knows. We all know. No one knows for legally certain who that person voted for, so you can't take away votes from one side or the other once the ballot has already been processed. And like I said, these people all do this at one particular building. I know where it is in Milwaukee. It's what used to be the headquarters of Assurant Healthcare, which is rather ironic and funny because Assurant Healthcare was a small mid-market health insurance provider for people who basically own sole proprietorships and small businesses of like less than, I don't know, maybe 50 employees or so. And Assurant Healthcare offered plans that were not Obamacare approved. So when Obamacare was passed, they went out of business. Their headquarters in downtown Milwaukee, I think they had well over 1,000 employees. Their headquarters in Milwaukee was gutted because they went bankrupt. So their headquarters was gutted, and the Democrat Party moved from City Hall processing over to this now empty building that used to own to a business that was put out of business by Obamacare. And now they have been operating out of that building since at least 2016. The Central Count in Milwaukee. That's how the shit actually works. So, yeah, I could go into what happened that day, but I am so glad to be out of that state. The people there are lovely. I don't like the cold. People there are lovely. People I knew are lovely. People in Milwaukee and Madison can go fuck themselves. But the people I knew out in the suburbs, way out in the suburbs, in Hartford and Slinger and West Bend and all, they are lovely people. But that state has had its politics corrupted at least since the mid-'80s, if not longer. Chicago itself has had a history of stuffing the ballot box for elections at least since the election of John F. Kennedy in 1960. It's not exactly a secret that whoever promised to not prosecute the Chicago mob was the one that would be allowed by the mob and their unofficial ties to Mayor Daley of Chicago to win that election. That's precisely what happened. JFK, and I can't remember who the head of the mob in Chicago was. This is not exactly a secret. Everybody in Chicago knows it, and they're quite proud of it. I fucking hate that town. But in the election of 1960, JFK, the head of the mob, and this is from a book called Killing the Mob by Bill O'Reilly. It's where I got this information, and he had lots of documents to back this up. The head of the mob in Chicago was an Italian guy, and he wanted a promise from JFK that the Chicago mob would not be gone after by the FBI. And JFK had a plan of putting the FBI under his brother RFK. RFK, very different, I think, from what I could tell. He both died like more than a decade before I was born, but from what I could tell, it seemed that RFK was trying to establish a name for himself as the guy who went after and got rid of the unions. In that respect, Democrat, I don't care. Even though I hate Democrats, RFK, that's probably why they killed him. At any rate, basically, they wanted a promise from JFK in Chicago that he would disallow RFK, or maneuver, manipulate, whatever term you want to use, make sure that RFK did not go after the Chicago mob. And he got that promise from JFK, and that secured JFK the election. Immediately after the election, JFK reneged on that promise, or within a year or two, reneged on that promise, allowed RFK, because he was pissed that he was threatened by this mob boss, or had his electoral chances threatened by this mob boss. He allowed RFK to go right after this guy. And this guy, I don't know what his name was, but he is widely rumored to be directly involved in the events that led up to the death of both RFK and JFK. He was not a person who liked being with. And there is substantial evidence to indicate that he was heavily involved in the deaths of both of those men. make from that what you will, but nobody can prove anything because, again, it's the mob. You can't prove nothing. Anybody who knows anything, who might even think about talking, is usually gunned down pretty quickly. So, again, this is how organized crime works. But with this whole thing, yeah. I believe there's a damn good chance that some organized crime people were heavily involved in the vaccine promotion. And I think that there were people who told Trump, this will help make the Kung Flu go away. And one of the very few times, whether you like him or hate him, and I happen to like, I love the guy. I view him as an imperfect messenger. And after he's gone, there will be another messenger after him, and after he's gone, there'll be another one after him until these fucking people get it. Corruption doesn't play. So while Trump may be an imperfect messenger, before him was Governor Walker, who went after the corruption of the unions. That's who I actually wanted for president. It wasn't until it was down to Ted Cruz, who, even though I live in Texas, and I vote Republican and have my whole life, I find that man to be a not particularly, I find him to be a slightly disingenuous blowhard, who, when given opportunities to actually do shit, consistently punts. Every time. He's a man who says a lot of shit, does very little. Versus DeSantis and Trump, who say a lot of shit and back it up with action. So that being the case, I don't much like Ted Cruz. Even though I'm here in Texas and he's one of my senators and I vote Republican and have my whole life, I'm not hugely fond of that man. I find him to be something of a rhino. He's a person who says a lot of shit, and I think just either doesn't know how Democrats work, incorrectly assumes that they are honest people, which they are not. At least the people that operate the party are not. The biggest liars on earth. And maybe he assumes that the other side is dealing in good faith. I don't know. But I just don't like the guy. So, I mean, I'd rather have him than a Democrat. But I'd rather have Governor Abbott or Governor DeSantis or Trump or whatever. And someone who will actually do something. Instead of just spouting a bunch of crap. That sounds good, accomplishes nothing. These people on the left, they're of the opinion, and this comes directly from the union mindset, which comes directly from Marxism, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the more their opinion is, the more noise that they make, and the more things that they push and push and push and push, the more they can get away with. And to an extent, kind of like a bad child who has no discipline, they're correct. The more stuff they push, the more shit they get away with. Because our side, my side of the aisle, doesn't, until Trump came along, and Walker, didn't have much of a backbone to go after these people. That's what's missing. In order to, this is no different than dealing with dictators from foreign countries. This is why Trump had no problems with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, but now, since Biden, dude has started launching missiles again. Because the only way to beat alpha males is to out-alpha male alpha males. And turn them into beta males. This is what Reagan did. Most people don't remember this, but I remember it growing up in the 80s. Reagan would go to these nuclear conferences, and the Russians would sit there and bullshit him, and he would know exactly what they were doing, and he would just leave. He goes, oh, well, I see you're not actually dealing with whatever, so you, I'm out of here. And the media would go apeshit crazy and accuse him of wanting to blow up the planet. Because that's what the media does. They lie. Constantly. People don't remember this. But there's news, Google it. There's news reports of Peter Jennings from ABC back in the early 80s when Reagan would walk away from the nuclear arms table, talking about nuclear de-escalation. When the Russians would sit there and bullshit him, he would just walk away. Because I'm not going to deal with people who are not dealing with good faith. I'm out of here. And Peter Jennings and other reporters like him would lose their damn minds trying to convince the public that this man was a lunatic, he was off his rocker, and he was going to blow up the whole damn planet. Reagan. You know why? Because Reagan knew how to deal with these people. The only way to win against people like that is to dominate them. And this is what the left has been doing to the Republican Party, shit, really since the 90s. Especially since 2004 to 2006 when Obama came along. Pelosi got to be the head of that party, and she's linked in with organized crime and some other shit. She's related to criminal families. So, which doesn't surprise me in the least. Probably where she learned some of her tactics. These people are Marxists on the left. They are Marxists. That's what they want. Well, let me put it this way. The average rank and file who are in power in that party are Marxist. The leaders of that party are not. They are anti-Marxist. They just want to get rich, be comfortable, and never have their power challenged. But the average rank and file of that party has turned full-tilt Marxist. And they're of the opinion, and they're correct, and they got this from the fucking labor unions, that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So basically, the more noise and the more they push, and the more they push, and the more they push, the more that they'll get. And the only way to beat those people is to do the same thing Reagan did. Literally hang your balls out the window and smack them in the face with it. That's what Trump was doing ever since he announced. Every single time these people thought they had him trapped, he took his balls out and smacked them. Right in the face of these people. On Twitter, daily. Which is why they hated him so much. Because he'd been dealing with unionized bosses and people his entire life trying to get buildings built. He knew exactly what these people were doing. He had a lifetime experience dealing with unions. It's exactly what unions do. They bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and they never stop bitching. Until they get what they want, and as soon as they get what they want, they turn around, they tell their members that they're being fucked, which they're not, and then they start asking for more shit. It's what they do. They can't be reasoned with, they can't be bargained with. The only way to beat unions is to leave the United States, which is why all of the jobs always leave the United States. Or they get, factories and plants get built in the American South where the unions really don't exist. And if we're lucky, hopefully will continue to not exist. As it is, Boeing right now has got a plant in South Carolina, non-union, and they are trying their damnedest to move as much of their, very quietly, hopefully under the radar of the unions in Washington State, to move their operations to South Carolina. And if that place ever becomes unionized, you can bet your ass they're going to, over the course of a decade or 2 decades, move all of their operations to some other country. Unions destroy jobs. Unions destroy everything they touch, period. They make people perpetually angry all the time because they constantly have to tell them, in order to justify being paid to, quote, fight for you, they have to constantly give you the impression that you are being somehow fucked by your employer. It's that mindset. You're being screwed, you're being screwed, you're being screwed, you're being screwed. Victim, 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 victim. What do you think the Democrat Party got the way that they run their politics? Trans is a victim. Women are a victim. Black people are a victim. This is a victim. That's a victim. Everybody's a victim. No. But see, they have to push that shit or you won't support them because everything else that comes out of their mouth is complete corruption and bullshit. And really only exist, although their policies only exist to enrich their own pockets and expand their own level of power. That's it. And nobody would ever vote for that because it's obvious. So the only way that these people can continue to have power is to lie to people and constantly claim that they're victims. And they'll use anybody. They don't care. One of my favorite ones, and I'm going to go find the video here. Let's see, here's the conservative. It's not that. There's a video from the Hodge twins. That's the one.
That's what I call
one. This one, where for nearly 20 years since 9/11, the left has claimed that it speaks for the Muslims and that it is defending the Muslims from right-wing Islamophobia. You about to find out how that's about to stop. This is a school board meeting in Dearborn, Michigan, where there's a ton of Muslims, and they ain't having any of this left-wing garbage. This is the moment where the left will no longer claim to advocate for Muslims because the Muslims are now going to be on the right-wing side of the aisle. Because now the Muslim values now align with our values. Really, they always did, but yeah. People were understandably angry in all directions. Oh, stop it. People were understandably angry in all directions after 9/11, but even then, there was never any Islamophobia or anti-Islamic backlash in the United States. We understood that it was just a few dumbasses who really were using the cover of religion to advance their goals of trying to recapture Israel, which is a whole nother topic of conversation. But that's what they were mad at. They wanted power. And they used 9/11 to try to get it. We understood this. We didn't hold all Muslims accountable for it. Nobody did. But the left had to advance that narrative that somehow Muslims were victims of right-wing Islamophobia. No, dude. We agree with mostly everything that they believe. Oh, we don't pray 3 times a day to Mecca, but other than that, most of the moral principles of that faith are roughly in line with Christianity and Judaism.
And every parent has a right to object to the things their kids are being exposed to. But there is a breaking point. And the breaking point is this. The fundamental existence of school is not to learn about sexual pleasure, not to learn about new sex acts. The fundamental purpose of school is to prepare our kids to be successful adults who can go off and have careers. And it is up to every parent to then teach their kids morality. It is out of the place for the school to do it, and I reject any notion that parents here are filled with hate or bigotry. The parents don't want their kids sexualized. If other people want to sexualize their kids, that's their business.
Now, I don't know what you guys are trying to do. I don't know. Why didn't you take these books out?
I'm just going to say in advance, I agree with everything this man says. Probably not the best pick for the speaker of their cause. I think the guy with the, there's a word in their language that I'm not familiar with, and I do not want to be disrespectful. It's not a turban, because the turban is what the Sikh people wear, and it's entirely different from what he's got on. The head wrapping. I think the guy with the head wrapping, I think, is a much better speaker for advancing this point of view. I think this guy can be used, even though he's a good person, he can be too easily used by the left to turn into an angry male stereotype. And so, because it's too easy of a weapon for the left to use, I don't think he's the best advocate for his cause. But
and say, that's it, we're done with these books, but you guys want to sit here, just keep the books. You know, instead of you guys taking the 6 books out, we wouldn't even be here. What's the problem? What's the agenda? What are you getting out of it? It's getting ridiculous. People got kids out here, okay? I'm not against the gay. I'm not against anything. I'm against the books, okay? Don't sit here and say that people are sitting here coming to you guys and just telling you, oh, we want these books out. You worried about the gay people? No problem. We're not worried about the gay people. We're worried about our children, okay? And second of all, I don't want to hear anybody, okay, sitting there saying, oh, you guys are offending the gay. These are kids. They can be 18. If they want to become gay, let them become gay. Who cares? It's not our problem. We don't want kids to have access to these books. It's nice and simple. I'm not going to address the situation no more. It is. It is what it is. And the only person that's behind this is Rashida Tlaib.
No, that's not the only person behind it. See, and this is where he gets off point. He 100% correct up until this point. He's sitting there blaming this, I guess, this one Democrat for this. No, this is the whole Democrat Party. Because the Democrat Party, it has a pattern. Once people turn 30 to 35, 40 years old, they stop voting Democrat. Why? Because usually they figure out the pattern that the Democrats are full of shit. The playbook never changes. It's always victim, 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 victim. And usually by that point in their lives, they tend to have kids. And they tend to have a certain amount of middle class or lower or upper middle class after they start accumulating things, property, a house, cars, whatever. They have to start paying taxes at that point in their life. And then they start paying attention to those kinds of policies of government, at which point they start becoming very less concerned with the social bullshit pushed by the left, which young people are very concerned with, because social opinion to people who are not confident enough yet in their lives is everything. But to people who are generally 30 and older, they don't give a fuck anymore. They're usually past the realm of dating, past the realm of giving a fuck what most people think of them, and the only people that they really think about them is if they're religious, their God. If they're not religious, whatever, their spouse, their kids, their extended family, and that's about it. Beyond that, they don't, and then maybe their church. They don't much care about, or social groups. They don't really much care about what other people think of them or their employer. So that transition tends to happen right around 30. And at that point, people usually tend to, between 30 and 40, stop voting Democrat and usually vote Republican for most of the rest of their lives, is the general pattern. And this is why the left constantly, as long as I've been alive, has to go after young people. Always with the damn young people. They did it when Clinton got up on stage with that fucking saxophone and those sunglasses on MTV, trying to appeal to the kids, to having rappers go out and say, vote or die, bitch, vote or die, bitch, vote or die. When I was, in the 2000s, and Puff Daddy running around there, vote or die, motherfucker. Okay, all that. They always have to go after the young people because the young people don't have any money yet. They haven't established themselves yet. They're young, as I like to call it, young, dumb, and full of cum. They're young, inexperienced, naive, and generally kind of stupid. And thus, they have no experience with the Democrat Party and their bullshit. They don't know that the Democrats are full of bullshit. They believe what the Democrats say. They think emotionally instead of logically. They think hormonally instead of logically. And that's who the Democrats target for votes. Because after a certain age, people generally stop voting Democrat because they don't agree with Democrat values at a certain point in their lives. And the number of people, especially married people, the overwhelming majority of married people tend to vote Republican. Not all, but the majority of married people after 30, 35, 40, they start voting Republican. Because their interests generally are then protecting their kids. And raising their kids to be successful human beings. And that's precisely what's going on here. Is you have this school board that's got these books about gay sex and some other things. I don't even remember what the name of the book is called. I don't know if they discussed it. I don't think they showed it in this video. Yeah. So, at any rate, that's what a lot of these people are parents. They don't want any part of this shit.
Do not vote for Rashida Tlaib. It's nice and simple. I'm done.
Clear.
You can't. The problem with the left is all of their arguments are based on emotion. So once you allow your emotions to overtake your logical argument, they've won. And you need to be very careful to not play the game the way they play the game, because they play the game entirely on emotion. They will then portray this man as, and I'm sure Trevor Noah and some other people probably did, as some angry, white-looking dude, blah, blah, which is not. But it's too easy for the left to manipulate information to make somebody appear as something they're not. And I can tell you right now, because I know how left-wing people work, it would be too easy for left-wing people to make that man appear as some sort of angry, trans, gay, phobic, misogynist, whatever the fuck. It's too easy. This man right here, though, much more difficult. Which is why he's a better spokesman.
That at the core of this issue is an ideological battle. And it seems like, and I hope I'm mistaken in my assessment, that some members of this board have inclined towards an insane, liberal LGBT ideology that holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that is good and students should have access to material in school as part of education.
The word he's looking for
The
is
reality
pornographic.
is, the proponents of LGBT liberal ideology here and elsewhere are fine with democracy as long as people vote for their fanatical views and as long as it supports their wicked agendas. If people vote against their views, the liberal authority blocks the democratic process and imposes the LGBT liberal positions on the populace. Ladies
And he is correct. Gay marriage was voted, and again, I'm not anti-gay. I don't really care. I don't think the government has no business being involved in marriage of any kind, period, for any reason. That should be a church thing or nothing. The government has no business being involved in marriage. That's the correct answer, period. Pro or against getting anything. Okay? There is a supposedly a benefit to getting married and filing as a married couple. I would be happy to let that particular benefit go if it would get the government out of marriage completely. Period. I would be, and a lot of people, and I'm a person who benefits from that tax break, but I would be willing to let that go if the Supreme Court would overturn not only gay marriage, but the ability for the government at any level to be involved in marriage of anybody. Period. The government has no business being involved in any kind of marriage. That is a private thing between you and whatever God you choose to or not to believe in. Period. That has nothing to do with government. So, that's where I stand on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Education, if democracy matters, we are the majority here in Dearborn. Let us draw the boundaries on appropriateness.
Yeah, see how rational and logical?
Yeah.
And their views come from the reality that sexuality is actually taught.
Yeah. It's a social construct, really.
Yeah. The reason why I'm straight, because I wasn't raised by homosexuals.
Yeah.
The thing about that, and I've noticed that with some people, is that even people who are raised by gay people, a lot of them turn out to not be gay. Because the thing of it is that human beings, when they get to the teenage years, tend to rebel. It's just part of life. And for a lot of people, when you have an ultra-conservative home, you have the teens rebel the opposite direction and become ultra-liberal. When you have an ultra-liberal home, you have the teens tend to rebel and become ultra-conservative. This was actually fodder for comedy back in the 80s with the sitcom Family Ties, where was it Michael Keaton? I think it was the character's name. It was Michael J. Fox's character was ultra-conservative, even though both of his parents had been fucking hippies. And that was enough of a common thing in the late 70s and early 80s that they made a whole damn sitcom about it. And that show was popular as hell and was watched by millions of people because people resonated with that reality because it was going on all over the country. Because a lot of these parents had become uber liberal in the 60s, and their kids became uber conservative because kids rebel. So his statement here is not, I get what he's trying to say, but it's not factually accurate. You have more often where you have kids rebel against their gay parents and be the opposite of that because that's what kids do.
Both my parents were straight. I had both my parents in my life.
Yeah. I don't care how straight you think you are. If you're grown up around two gay men and they're your parents or
gay
two gay
women?
women, I mean, look at Madonna. Look at all these celebrities adopting kids. All their kids are gay and transgender.
You'll never know what their kids really are or aren't. during their teenage years. During their 20s, things tend to change a little bit. Kids become slightly less rebellious into their 20s. And in that case, I don't know. The pattern tends to change a little bit. But with these kids of these high-profile leftist celebrities, they have a point, but I think that point, I think that reality tends to change around the teenage years. I don't think you'll ever get these people to admit this publicly, but I think that a lot of their kids, when they become teenagers, start rebelling against their ultra-liberalism. But
your sexuality is taught. That's why everybody's straight. You can totally change the sexuality of a entire populace of people just by simply how they are raised. Yeah, I mean that's why. I mean, why?
No, you can change the moral values of an entire group of people based on how they're raised. Not necessarily the sexuality, although that could be it's part of it, but it's the moral values: honesty, integrity, strength of character, self-sacrifice for a long-term goal, constantly improving and working on yourself, constantly improving your skills, constantly trying to make yourself a better person or a better version of yourself than you were the day before. These are values that are taught. And the values of the left do not espouse that. They are the values of a lifetime of selfishness, self-centeredness, and the pursuit of not even happiness, pleasure. The pursuit of self is the hallmark of the left. I know a lot of these people who I grew up with in LA. Some of these people, against my better judgment, I'm still friends with on Facebook and Instagram. I don't really check Instagram because I fucking hate Instagram, because it is basically just a giant excuse for you to brag to other people about shit you do that they can't afford. But these people are the kinds who are my age. I grew up with these people. They're in their early 40s, no kids, traveling the world, first class tickets, going to this dream destination, going to that dream destination, because they ain't had no kids. Now, a couple of them, I'm sure, maybe had some biological problems, especially the women, where they couldn't have kids. But I know that the majority of these people, male and female, their main goal in life is to live a life of self-centeredness. Their primary goal is not, they think that the raising of children hinders their pursuit of their own personal, individual pleasure and happiness. I hate using the word happiness because it doesn't really make these people happy. It just gives other people the impression that they're happy. I know people who work at certain firms in San Francisco who recently went on trips to Kilimanjaro. Of course, it was all over Instagram. Seen other people who went on trips to Iceland, went on trips to all these nice places of the world. They ain't got no kids. And when I used to work at car dealerships, they used to tell me that the greatest customer for car dealerships was gay people. Why? Because they ain't got no kids. Because they had no kids, they had more disposable income. Because they had more disposable income, they'll buy a nicer car. Their favorite customer of car dealerships is gay people. Ones that they hate or that they like less. They like men who want trucks because trucks are very high profit items. Very, very high profit items. Trucks and SUVs. And to an extent, crossovers. But especially the things that generally don't get a lot of money spent on them are minivans, small crossovers, small cheapo cars, things of that nature where there's not a lot of money to be made. Their two best kinds of customers for dealerships, especially dealerships that make trucks, are gay people and truck people. Because gay people have just a ton of disposable income, and truck people just blow tons of money on trucks that are just massively overpriced. I mean, I have a 94 Ford Ranger. I was able to tow 2 cars down here to Texas from Wisconsin with that V6. Shocked. that it pulled it off, but you don't really need, unless you're hauling a gooseneck or a motorhome or not a motorhome or a trailer or things of that nature. If you're towing shit, yeah, you need a big ass V8. But for most people who have one, nah, it's just a dick swinging thing. And again, I'm not anti that. I'm a guy's guy. I'm just not going to blow 55 to 60 grand on a damn truck. It's just stupid. So.
Why else would you be pissed off that drag queens are like reading books to your kids in school?
Yeah.
You know why that drag queen is there. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not to educate. Turn your boy, turn your girl into a homosexual.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense. When I think of a drag queen, that's a performer that does sex acts in front of adults.
Yeah.
Why they have them in front of kids reading and have parents there ushering their kids in there to see this garbage? Do not understand that.
Yeah.
That's why we got to stop compromising with the LGBTQ because they take things way too far.
It's not just them. It's all Democrats. You don't compromise with Marxists. Period. You don't compromise with authoritarians, and you don't compromise with Marxists. So the left seemed to understand this, because back when I was a kid, most of the authoritarianism in this country was all on the right wing. It was the evangelicals, the televangelist crowd of the 80s and 90s who wanted to insert and insist their values upon all of the rest of America, because they didn't understand what Reagan was really about, and they thought Reagan was some sort of spiritual leader. No, Reagan was an economic guy. Brilliant marketing as far as his brand, but his major thing was he was very anti-union. That's why I love that man so much, because I fucking hate unions. But these people, like the moral majority, the televangelist crowd, they used their control of religion to try to exert undue power upon the morality of this country at that time, and they got a massive backlash. Well, the exact same thing is happening on the left from the opposite side, where you have all of these people trying to impose their values on all of the rest of America, and there's no backlash from the right. When I was a kid, there was backlash everywhere from the left. No backlash, or very little backlash from the right. That's why these people have gotten away with this shit for so long. And the gay thing is one thing. I got gay friends. My date for my high school prom was lesbian. Very good woman. Very, very nice. One of the highest quality character individuals I've ever been privileged to know. But the reality is that the gay thing is one thing, because their argument rested upon, we can't choose to be this. And that's why, and as a matter of some debate, I have a niece who went with the rainbow crowd for a while. Then, for whatever reason, decided she wasn't one of them. Got with a guy, got married, now lives in Colorado, has kids. Last I heard, a couple years ago, or a year ago, whatever the fuck, she was pregnant. Which is great, wonderful. Finally settled down, got her mind right. Last I heard, still smokes a lot of weed, but that seems to vary from person to person. I got a really good friend I game with almost every night, and he's one of the few functional potheads I know. Most of the people I know who smoke weed, it negatively impacts their life, but there are people that it has either a positive effect or no effect. Everyone's different. But she was not one of them. She became lazier, unmotivated, and made a bunch of excuses all throughout her 20s, because that's what she did. Because all young people do seem to do that shit. But she got her shit together, married, is a kid, or two. I think when she got married, I don't know if she adopted the other one or how that. I've talked to her in a while. She's uber liberal, so she don't talk to me. But got her shit together, stopped being rainbowish, got with a guy. They're happy together. Wonderful. There's also people who don't outgrow that phase, and that's perfectly fine too. Whatever floats your boat. But the whole argument underpinning that whole thing for gay marriage was that you couldn't choose who you fell in love with. All right, fair enough. So then the trans argument falls on its face immediately, because that is you claiming you can choose XYZ, which completely annihilates the previous logical argument upon which the gay rights movement was based. And that's why you start seeing a lot of backlash from gay people. They don't really want anything to do with the trans crowd. They are tired of that shit. There's the number of lesbians, for reasons I really do not understand, the number of lesbians has dramatically dropped. People identifying as lesbian who are getting the surgeries to try to become men, or there's still roughly the same number of gay men, but the number of lesbians has dropped through the floor in favor of people who identify as non-binary or anything else, because apparently there's a problem in that community where, and I've made a video about this, where trans people are, especially once they get the surgeries and the hormones, they start pretending as if they are real women, and they demand that since lesbians are attracted to women, lesbians should be attracted to them. No. Because that would completely undercut the argument from the gay rights groups all throughout the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years that you couldn't choose who you fell in love with or what type of gender you fell in love with. So, again, that whole argument, the logical opposites. They cancel each other out. So, like I said, these people in trans, that they are actively victimizing lesbian people by harassing and bullying the shit out of them for not dating these trans people, because these trans people insist that we are real women. And they get very upset when the lesbians don't want to date them. And so the lesbians respond by saying, I'm not a lesbian, I'm a trans, or I'm non-binary, or I'm this, or I'm that, to get these people off their backs. A lot of gay men are finally coming out and speaking out against it and going, hey, no. See these blue and pink weirdos? Yeah, they came along and hijacked our shit. We don't want any part of these people. We used to have bars and group gatherings and friends and a community of lesbians and gays and bisexual people, and these people have just come in and hijacked our shit. And we are tired of them. And that's from the gay people. Especially gay men. They're tired of this shit. So, like I said, this shit ain't gonna fly. But, at any rate, it is now 12:30 in the a.m. I have done several of my accomplishments on Rocket League here. And, hopefully you've gotten some little bit of enlightenment out of the bit that we have discussed here at the end. I think I'm going to make this possibly a common thing. Discussing these kinds of issues at the tail ends of other videos. I don't know. We'll see. But at any rate, it's been a lovely evening. And I do believe we will catch you on the flip side.